Okay, so this video, I've done this type of video a couple times before. I want to do a retrospective look back at the season of Saturday Night Live that we just had. This was season 50, which was pretty interesting. But yeah, so the way this is going to work, look through all the sketches on YouTube as a way to look at all the episodes that they did. Then I'll do a couple tier lists of the hosts and then the cast members. While I look through all the episodes, a couple things that I might try to mention. I don't care as much about like the musical guest, but if I have any opinion on who the musical guest was, I might try to remember to mention it. And then I might try and pick like my favorite sketch of each episode. I don't know, this video is not super scripted or anything. But yeah, let's get started. So first episode, season premiere, they had Jean Smart, which I mean, I know who she is. She's on a TV show, but I'm not at all a fan of her, or just, no, not dislike. I just don't really know or care who that is. I did like the musical guest, I remember, Jelly Roll. And this was right in the 2024 election season, which is kind of interesting. I'll talk more a bit about it as we go on, but various guest stars to play all the political figures. So that's nice. Again, what I like about Saturday Night Live is you get snippets of what was like topical and relevant at the time, like Moo Dang. I kind of forgot what Moo Dang was, but that was a sketch about that. Do I have a favorite sketch of this season premiere episode? Honestly, maybe just the Spirit Halloween pre-tape. That was pretty fun. That was neat. Because I think you definitely can make fun of Spirit Halloween. Yeah, I'll talk more about the political stuff that they did in a little later. So that was the first episode. Then they got Nate Bargatze back, which I thought was very cool. I think they should get him every year because he's a nice comedian. He's got a style. He generally just works pretty well with that. So I'm trying to see if I can remember if it says anywhere who the musical guest was for this Nate Bargatze episode. I don't know if it's actually saying. Yeah, I'll have to. I don't think I can remember. Like good sketches here. You get Washington again. They started the season at a time when it was like, it was after the first debate between the two presidential candidates, but they were able to cover the vice presidential debate, and that was interesting. I watched that one. It was actually civil because Trump wasn't involved, and both those characters, those figures have things to make fun of about. But yeah, golf tournament was a fun sketch. I think my favorite's definitely the water park though. That was good. I've rewatched that multiple times at this point. That's great. Yeah, Nate Bargatze is just pretty good. Where does it? Okay, so like see here, it says who's gonna be the musical guest. I don't see one where it is promoting who was musical guest when Nate Bargatze hosted. I don't know why they don't have that like advert. Because they delete the musical guest actual performances from YouTube because of rights and stuff, but they keep the promotional material, and I don't know why. Yeah, oh well. We got Andy Samberg back to do some digital shorts. That's kind of cool. I don't have any like attachment to that era of Saturday Night Live, but I like Andy Samberg. Next episode, we got some new cast members. I'll talk about them. We got Ariana Grande and then Stevie Nicks. I don't remember very much as a musical guest. And honestly, some people liked this episode a lot. I'm not a very big fan of Ariana Grande. I don't think. I just don't find her all that funny. I didn't like her character in Wicked. Not a fan. She is a very good impressionist. I'll give her that. her impression of Hermione Granger from Harry Potter, that's great. That actually made me laugh, but literally not very much else. I don't think that was in the episode. I just happened to know that she did that. Best Friend's House was kind of clever. This sketch, the Italian little singer, that kind of, I didn't like that at all. But yeah, I don't know. So maybe Best Friend's House is my favorite, but yeah, was not a fan of Ariana Grande, unfortunately. Though, contrast though, Michael Keaton was a host I was really excited about, because that was right around Halloween. Michael Keaton, of course, known for like Beetlejuice and stuff. He was a pretty good choice to get to host the pre-Halloween episode. I just like when Saturday Night Live kind of covers different holidays. But yeah, good host choice. Billie Eilish is always a good musical guest. Again, I don't listen to music enough to be a fan of Billie Eilish or anything, but I can just appreciate that she is a good performer and talented and stuff. But yeah, a lot of good sketches. The Uber Game Show, horror choreographer. This is kind of holiday themed. They did another TikTok, and this one actually stayed up, which was kind of, they've done TikTok like sketches before, but they get removed for rights and stuff, because they have music in there. And this one actually has made it 7 whole months without getting removed for rights issues, so that's nice. Halloween Cookies is fun because it's just more like holiday theme stuff. This was one of the few memorable Please Don't Destroy sketches, the skydiving. Not as much Please Don't Destroy this season. Emil Wakim had his weekend update, which was cool. Yeah, so that was a good episode in my book. But it got better when John Mulaney hosted. Nate Bargatze is kind of getting there, but John Mulaney is at the point where like he's hosting, it's going to be a good episode, and you get why they bring him back so much. He's just a really good comedian. And then, of course, musical guest was Chappell Roan. I don't really care about her. She is talented, though. I'm just not. Again, I don't listen to enough music to be like a big fan of any particular musician, but I guess I get her fan base and stuff. Kamala Harris appeared in a cameo. That was kind of cool. This was right before the election. This sketch see, a lot of people who don't actually watch Saturday Night Live always talk about how Saturday Night Live is too political, too much of the sketches are political. It's most of the time just Cold Open and Weekend Update is actually what deals with politics. But this time they actually had an additional sketch that had political themes. But this one was pretty fun, and it made fun of an interesting type of person there. And it's another political cameo there. So that was kind of cool. Big fan of that sketch. I'm trying to think if that was my favorite of this episode. Actually, no, it's not, because this episode just had a lot of bangers in it. Beppo. I think this and a few others are all kind of written maybe by the same guy, who kind of just is known for like bringing in creatures that you got to do like props and animatronics and CGI for. I'm not sure if he has had enough sketches to have like his own brand yet, but I think it's Dan Boa. I remember that name. But those are always pretty cool. But I think the obvious choice for best one is the Harvey Epstein campaign. That's funny because I guess there really was a guy named Harvey Epstein running for a local office, and they're like, those names are kind of funny. Let's do something with that. So I really appreciated that. That was fun. We got another musical that was kind of fun. John Mulaney is just, you know what you're getting with him, and he does a good job. So very good choice because this was right before the election. So again, you kind of want to have just good stuff going on in that early part of the season. Like a lot of people got very excited about the fact that, John Mulaney's hosting and Chappell runs the musical guest. This is going to be an episode a lot of people tuned in for. And I think they made that work. Post-election, we got Bill Burr. And I'm going to be a little critical because I really do like Bill Burr. I think he's a very good comedian. This was not his strongest work, unfortunately. With the monologue, I remember, it was kind of a tough thing to do because again, you don't know how the election's going to go, and then you have to come up with the monologue that's going to reflect how it did go. And I very much appreciated giving Bill Burr a chance to do that, because I'm not the biggest fan of the guy that they used to get for the post-election shows. But I wish he did better, because it was just kind of a letdown. But he did okay. It's just my expectations were maybe a little bit too high for him. But yeah. Trump won, and they made fun of that in a pretty interesting way. This one, I mean, I'm just clicking on it. You can kind of see where that went, but that was fun. Bill Burr is a good dad figure, so it makes sense that they had a sketch about that. Anything else of note for this episode? Okay, they left a couple musical performances up. Bald Guy's kind of cool, I guess. I know that was a musical sketch, so that's fun. And again, credit to the makeup and costume team to get everybody the bald caps, because I mean they probably do a lot of work with bald caps just in case someone has a different hair than what they normally have, or whatever. So just again, Saturday Night Live's a lot of talented people coming together, make it work. I find it very interesting, and it's a showcase of the cast, and then the writers, and then the song music department, and then also the costuming department. I guess so you can appreciate that sketch for all that. Let me actually just go back, because we're kind of out of that first part of the season, election season. Let me go back to, I don't know which one, because they had, if I can remember, obviously James Austin Johnson is Trump. He does good. They got that ramble, Trump doesn't know what he's talking about energy, which is kind of nice. Maya Rudolph and Kamala Harris, I have no strong opinion on either, but they do sound similar, and it's objectively a pretty good impression. Jim Gaffigan as Tim Walz, again, not a Saturday Night Live related person, but just a good comedian, brings that kind of Midwest energy, and I have a pretty good opinion of Tim Walz. I remember they're definitely making more fun of Tim Walz than they needed to, because I think he's pretty hard to criticize, in my opinion. But of course, probably of all the people that they are parodying there, he'd probably be the most able to take a joke. So that was fine. And then Bowen Yang as J.D. Vance actually does feel like a little bit of a miscast, because there's just plenty of stuff to make fun of about J.D. Vance. And Bowen Yang can kind of do some of the clever angles there, but maybe not everything. I think you could have tried a few different kind of ways to make fun of the guy around. They kind of did that a little later, actually, but just with the physical impression, maybe try something else in the future. I don't know how relevant J.D. Vance is going to be in the coming years, because technically he is the vice president now, but that's not really a job that does much. But yeah, anyway, what happened next? Bill Burr, and Charlie XCX is both host and musical guest. I think she's a good performer. Again, don't listen to enough music to be a fan of any musical guest or anything, but I think she does good music. It's interesting because sometimes using auto-tune gets criticized, but that's kind of her brand, and I think that's kind of interesting. And then she does have a sense of humor, so she can be funny. This is where we first met Domingo, I think. Maybe Domingo happened a little earlier, actually, but that was fun. We had a proper recurring character for the season, and I think that was kind of cool. Dana Carvey is Biden. I kind of forgot. I don't know if it's the best Biden impression. Again, of course, there's a lot of stuff to make fun of about Biden, but it's kind of just Dana Carvey, this Saturday Night Live veteran, just coming in and doing whatever the hell he wants, and I kind of respect that. Is there anything that memorable from this episode? I mean, I guess you got the digital short, both a talented musician and a talented songwriter comedian get to do a song together. That's pretty fun. Another audition sketch, which is kind of fun. This is around Thanksgiving. You get the baking one. which is cool. Oh, I think my favorite here is this Shrek the Musical, because I actually know someone that was in Shrek the Musical at a school production, and this is obviously kind of making fun of not even the musical. It's just it's funny to see that as the driving force, but like this just had such a unique comedic style. I don't even know if I can describe it without rewatching, but I have rewatched this a couple times, and very fresh comedy. The cast members will just like they'll set up one punchline and then they'll hit you with an even funnier, more out of nowhere punchline. It's just crazy. So that was good. Anything else we're coming up on? Okay, Paul Mescal hosted Writer on Gladiator 2. I remember I watched Gladiator 2 on a Saturday, and then I got home, and then I watched this. And it's just, I literally only watched Gladiator 2 because I knew Paul Mescal was going to host, and I wanted to get a little familiar with who he was. But yeah, he's a good actor, I guess. And he gets to show his sense of humor here. Where is it? Is it showing up here? Come on. Oh, yeah. They did a musical sketch. That was great. That was really funny. I've rewatched that at least once. And then Complete Unknown, Red Carpet. Again, this is not really making fun of the movie. It's kind of just making fun of the stars and then the related musical people. So I'm not sure if I was the exact target audience for that. I did see Complete Unknown a little later. But this is kind of making fun of the real musicians, and that's kind of cool because, I don't know. But like, I guess a lot of the cast had like they wanted to try doing impressions of these famous musicians, and that's kind of fun that they got to do that. Pirates, they did a pirate sketch with some dancing. That's kind of fun. Again, shout out to the choreography people. Another political figure, David Spade as Hunter Biden. I don't think at all about Hunter Biden, but I like David Spade. So it's nice to see that he got to show up for a bit. Chris Rock and Gracie Abrams. This is getting into the real Christmas season. Chris Rock is not one of my favorite comedians, unfortunately. He did all right, and I recognize that he does have history with Saturday Night Live. But honestly, the only part of this episode that really stood out to me is this one, because Adam Sandler's in it, and I do actually really like Adam Sandler, and it's just funny to see him like kind of lazily having a little cameo. I think there's a moment in that where like he plays an injured guy and he just gets to like throw blood on Chris Rock, and that's funny because they're very good friends in real life. Okay, Office Christmas Party, that was actually pretty good pre-tape. I mean, look at that, you got like the little pop-up phrases coming up, just like imagine an Office Christmas Party but like crazy. I don't even know, but I don't know. What else? Anything good here? All Santas was kind of clever, actually. Again, I like when Saturday Night Live actually does stuff that's related to the holiday, that has an episode around, which is why I really liked the next episode, actually, which had the host of Martin Short. And you could argue that the holiday was like Christmas. The holiday was Martin Short making the Five Timers Club. That's awesome. He's a comedian that I don't even know what I've seen him in outside of Saturday Night Live, but I love the guy. He's great. We got another parking lot thing. Sabado Gigante. Speaking of not Martin Short, but Marcelo Hernandez, he had Domingo and he had Sabado Gigante. Two great sketches from him that got a little recurring. I like the sketch format, and I think it's funny that Paul Rudd just showed up to do that. Anything else? I don't remember actually, I remember one specific element of the Christmas joke swap. I'm not gonna spoil that though. Those are always pretty fun. They dropped this like 2 months late. I don't know why. I guess it just got cut from the John Mulaney. That's okay. Like, that's nowhere near the best Superman sketch they've ever done on Saturday Night Live, but it's okay. I get why it got cut. Heading into January, we got Dave Chappelle, and as you might have alluded to, not a huge fan of this guy. not even for maybe like political reasons or anything. I just don't find him all that funny. And in my opinion, this was kind of a waste of an episode. I just don't think he did anything all that funny, like that I personally found funny. And like he spent most of the time doing his monologue. Yeah, like 17 minutes. 17 minutes of monologue, and then you get like 2 sketches, and neither of them are all that funny. But the actual cast, again, you got Michael Longfellow on Weekend Update, he's good. Nosferatu, yeah. So like, even in my opinion, a bad host can't ruin an episode because again, you have that talented cast and stuff. But next episode we got Timothy Chalamet, who I am a big fan of. I think he's very funny. He fits in very well with the Saturday Night Live cast. And he was actually also the musical guest because he played Bob Dylan, wanted to do some Bob Dylan songs. That's just really cool. They got to do more fun, crazy, creative ideas like that. I'm not sure when the next opportunity would be, but I like that Timothy Chalamet has just become like friends with the Saturday Night Live gang, and they'll just let him do stuff like this. And yeah, you get this bungee jumping sketch. They got Lin-Manuel Miranda to pull up for a 1-second cameo before Trump starts to ramble, just for a cold open. Good job. I don't know who wrote this one with the Oedipal arrangements. That's crazy. That one. AI. Love making fun of AI. Medcast is a classic at this point. It's very funny to examine like the idea of men listening to podcasts and then throw like the medical stuff into that. Very, very topical. Definitely has probably aged a little bit better than some other stuff this season. But yeah, no, Timothy is just a very good host, like that. Yeah, and then, okay, they left the Bob Dylan stuff up. Cool. Dog Run, that was kind of fun. Just, let's make fun of dogs. And dogs are weird. Dogs are big, stupid animals. But they I don't know. I like dogs. And, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, Timothy just kind of killed it here. Okay, then we got the 50th. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the 50th. But yeah, it's just they got some alumni to do their thing. I feel like this was just like an extra long episode. Like the sketches were longer on average, and then like there was more of them, and some of them I liked, and some of them I didn't like as much. But like they got a sketch of you like John Mulaney stuff. They got a sketch of like Andy Samberg stuff. I really liked Adam Sandler's song, actually. That was probably the best moment. But like the Scared Straight, that's not really appealing to me. Yeah, Domingo again, that I liked that. Just a lot of variety in that. You'll like some stuff, you don't like other stuff as much. But yeah, good special. Shane Gillis is kind of controversial. I like the guy. I think he's funny. And he seems to be a nice person in real life. Like he'll apologize if his humor actually genuinely bothers someone. So yeah, I respect the guy. Cold couple of beers, that's funny. The sound, another please don't try. Okay, Marcel Hernandez character. I like Domingo. I like Sabado Gigante. Did not really like the movie guy. I don't think that character is that funny. But anything else from Shane Gillis here? Maybe not. I guess maybe he had another slightly longer monologue. Yeah, a little longer. So less sketches for him, but he did a good job. There's an alternate timeline where he didn't do something stupid and just stayed on as a cast member and didn't get fired. And like, that's just kind of interesting. I kind of wonder what that would be like, because he does fit in well with the cast and he's capable of being a good comedian. So Lady Gaga probably did fine. I'm just not the biggest fan of that actress, singer, artist, whatever. The Lord Gaga sketch on Weekend Update, that was pretty funny, because it makes fun of Colin Jost, and that I can understand and get by. This sketch has a little cameo in it that I really appreciated, of a character from a movie that I really like. Anything else of note here? Okay, Mikey Madison. I know she just won an Oscar, and that's great, but like she didn't do that well as a host. This episode was kind of unmemorable, unfortunately. Honestly, the most memorable thing, this was right after the Pete Hegseth Signal shenanigans, so they made fun of that. Ashley Padilla got a weekend update finally. We'll get to the tier list, but I think she's great. But yeah, nothing else from this is actually that memorable. But then we get Jack Black. Jack Black kind of killed it. He's a guy who knows how to be funny. Also, he just appeals to like the kid in me, because kids like Jack Black, and I don't know. He kind of reminds me of my youth pastor a little bit. Just his vibe. He kind of looks similar a little bit. But yeah, basically every sketch is one that I would not mind rewatching. First Play, Flamin' Hot. We got Mike Myers now as Elon Musk as our celebrity political cameo. But yeah, I don't like Elon Musk. I like Mike Myers, and it's clear that Mike Myers doesn't like Elon Musk, so it's a good impression by that. But he likes making fun of the guy, and which I think is pretty deserved. So, Goth Kid on Vacation, I could see becoming a classic, but basically all these sketches pretty great. John Hamm has a pretty big history with Saturday Night Live. He did fine. I'm trying to think if there was anything that I strongly remember. Okay, this was the one that had this sketch, which was good. Again, I'm weird. I like when Saturday Night Live does a lot of political stuff. And I know a lot of people don't, but this is pretty cool. Making fun of all of Trump's friends and stuff, and then they make fun of Trump himself. I remember they've covered Trump in relation to Easter a few times now. This is literally covering the scene in the Bible where Jesus gets angry with the money people, the merchants in the temple, and I remember making fun of this before myself. It's like, yeah, Trump with his Bible, sell a Bible, because Jesus definitely liked mixing money and religion, and they made fun of that. So that's really pleasing to me, because I kind of thought of that angle to joke about, and now professional comedians are doing it. That's pretty cool. But yeah, John Hamm was all right. Quinta Brunson did fine. Not super familiar with her. Maybe best sketch was the Bill and Ted Radical Experience. I think that's kind of funny, just because it's well-known historical figures, just through the SNL lens. Fighting a Gorilla is kind of topical. Benson Boone, I don't remember much about. Like, I saw a thing, it's like, what is there to Benson Boone besides the fact that he does flips? And I'm not sure it's all that much. So yeah, mixed bag on musical guests, but I'm not the best person to judge that at all, so whatever. Walton Goggins did all right. I think the real angle they did for this is that this dude knows how to like flirt and stuff, be kind of sexy, and so they just did that, and that kind of worked. Mikey Day got to do something fun with this physical comedy. Like, he's pretty electric in that. That's kind of cool. And he was my favorite. I like this one. It's just, yeah, the Second Amendment is written pretty weird. that's what that's making fun of. So that's cool. Anything else? And the Scarlett Johansson did okay. She's done better in the past, but she's literally related to the Saturday Night Live family now, so she can just do whatever, pull up. But yeah, not a super memorable sketch to end on, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's the episodes. I guess now we'll rank all the hosts. But yeah, I think that's all the thoughts I wanted to get out in my little read through of all the clips and stuff. Okay, so we're gonna do a tier list of the hosts. I got S to D. That's just the amount of tiers that I think works. So what order do we want to do this? Let's see. Well, first of all, I hate to start with this, but I am not a fan of Dave Chappelle for a few different reasons. I just don't think he's all that funny, and I felt like his episode was wasted. Spent too much time on the monologue, and not enough good sketches with him. So unfortunately, he is going to be ranked pretty low. On the flip side, just because he went right after Timmy's going to get an S because he killed it. He got to do a musical guest and just be very funny in a lot of sketches. So he's the first S tier. Just putting that out there. Big fan of Timmy here. Let me think. Let's start going chronologically. I think Jean's smart. I'm unfortunately going to just give a C. She wasn't that memorable. And it was, maybe that's because it was the first sketch, but the first episode. But honestly, I wish the first episode just had a more interesting host. She did fine. C tier is fine. Nate Bargatze. Do I want it? I think I'm gonna do A as opposed to S. Maybe in the future he could get an S tier if he does like even better. And he is getting better. He's already a very good comedian. And I like the work he does when he's on Saturday Night Live. But I think you need to do something really crazy, unique to get an S tier. But A tier is very good. Let's do Chris Rock. Chris Rock, I'll give a C. Not because he did bad or anything. He did fine. I just unfortunately, not personally, the biggest fan of his comedy. So that's that. Scarlett Johansson. We'll do this one next. See, if this was not the finale, I would probably be a little more lenient. But I also want to just give a C to Scarlett Johansson. I just think I've seen better, more funny stuff from her on Saturday Night Live. And since it was the finale, I guess my expectations were a little higher. Let's try and pick a positive one, though. Walton Goggins did very good. I might move him down to B, but I think I'll give him an A. Just because he was one of the few hosts this season that was not like a host that had done it before. And I think he did a pretty good job. So he'll get an A tier. Lady Gaga can probably be the first B tier. Just did good, but don't remember super well, unfortunately. I'm gonna bottom load this. Mikey Madison, I'll only give a C just because, again, not that memorable, unfortunately. But yeah, Jack Black, I'll give it another S tier. He killed it. He knows how to be funny. So yeah. Let's think. Charlie XCX, I'll give. Do I want to do B or A? I'll do A, honestly. I think she can get an A because she also musical guest, and that takes more talent. So yeah. Who do I want to do next? Ariana Grande. I'm gonna have to give a C. I don't know why. I'm not a huge fan of her or her acting style or some of the characters that she did in her episode. I just didn't find that funny, unfortunately. Let's try to be more positive. Michael Keaton can get an A because he was a good choice for a Halloween episode, and I think he did good. And he's older, so maybe I judge him a little less harshly because him doing. I mean, it's kind of the similar reasoning as when he played Beetlejuice again. That's a role that requires a ton of energy. Not everybody could do it, but he killed it. So, kind of similar, with similar idea. Saturday Night Live requires a lot of energy. A lot of older hosts can't do it, but he did a very good job for considering that. So, Paul Mescal. Let's do Paul Mescal next. I think I'll give right in the middle, do a B tier, because he did good. He was another first time. I would love to see him again, but again, not the most memorable maybe. Quinta Brunson, probably another B tier. Did a good job. Just not like my exact style of comedy. Again, you know who is Timothy, Jack Black. These guys really made me laugh. Everyone else did good. Just it's my list. It's my preferences. Okay, last Bill Burr. Bill Burr, I'll give a B, just because I just wish he was better. He had potential to be S tier host idea for post election, and just maybe partially because how the election went, partially just the mood was down or whatever. But he couldn't deliver as strongly as I wanted. So only a B tier for him. But I do really like the guy. He's a good comedian. John Hamm, I think I'll also give a B because he did fine. Shane Gillis, this might be controversial. Shane Gillis can get an A because I do really like his stuff. Two more. John Mulaney and Martin Short. I'm gonna give them both pretty good scores. I'm trying to think where I wanna. I think John Mulaney can be S, and then Martin Short can be A. How's that looking? Okay. I don't know if I want to order these at all. Yeah, no, these three probably were, in my opinion, the best and my favorite. I don't know. I'm not going to order this at all. I don't know how I'd order this, but yeah, Nate, Walton, Charlie, Michael, they all did very good in my opinion. These guys did fine. These guys I just wasn't a fan of, and I just don't really like Dave Chappelle. So that's what my list is looking like today. So that's that. Let's do the cast, and then that'll be the video. Okay, so we got the cast tier list, all the returning players, and then the new featured players. I'll try and go a little bit more in depth on this. And then also, Please Don't Destroy did show up a little time. And I have this other box that's just going to be for like any of the alumni is not the right word, past cast members showing up to cameo, because there was a lot of that this season, so it can get its own thing. Who do I want to start with? Keenan is generally pretty solid. I think he can get an A tier this time. I mean, he's just been there forever, and you really can't go wrong with some Kenan Thompson. Again, who do I want to do? Devin Walker, I feel like I just didn't see as much this season, but I do like the guy. So I'll give him a B. I might move him down to C, but I don't really want to be that harsh to these guys. I think they're all pretty talented. Bowen Yang, B, but might move up to A. I think he does good work. Trying to think who I have like a lot to say about today. Chloe Fineman can be the first C tier. I'm just not a huge fan of her because she's kind of known for doing impressions, but I don't think some of her impressions are like that noteworthy or good. Like, she has a place on the cast. She does fine. It's just, I'm not ever dying to see her in a sketch. She's not like guaranteed to make me laugh, unfortunately. Ego Wodum is going to get an A. I think she's great. She does great stuff. Dismukes, Andrew Dismukes. I think I'm also going to give an A. I like this guy because he was a new cast member right when I started watching, so I'm kind of attached to how his stuff goes. I want him to succeed very much. I might move him down actually, but yeah. Okay, first S tier is going to be Mikey Day. He kind of feels like almost the main character of Saturday Night Live. He just gets to be in a lot of sketches, but he holds it all together pretty well, and I think he's a very reliable member of the cast, so he can get an S tier for that. Let's think today. This is going to be very front-loaded. It's going to be very high up, so I wish it was more balanced, but I don't know. Marcelo, I think I'll edge him into the A. This year specifically, I think he really impressed me with some new recurring characters. Got more screen time. I think he's doing a very good job for that. Michael Che, I'll do Jost and Che. Che, I only want to give a B tier. I'm not sure if I could perfectly describe the difference in comedic style between Michael Che, Colin Jost. I just know I have a preference. They both are very good though. They work very well together. Michael Che, I like a little bit less than Colin Jost. So Colin's A, Michael's B. Together, they're kind of A. They're as a duo. I just think on average, I like the jokes from Colin a little bit better. Heidi Gardner is pretty solid. B tier is for solid, so I'll do that. James Austin Johnson. So many people in A tier today, but I'll give him an A tier. I might just around, but he's just very reliable, can play a lot of different roles, and then he excels with Donald Trump, who unfortunately is pretty common in sketches now in the cold opens. But yeah, he definitely more to him than just the Trump impression, but that's what he is most known for. Michael Longfellow, I'll give. Oh, do I want to be harsh and give him a B? I'm gonna give him a B. I really hope in next year, if he stays, that I can give him A, because I like the guy. He didn't have as much screen time this season, so I don't think I can give him as high of a score. Sarah Sherman, I've always been a fan of Sarah Sherman, even though when she does the real weird stuff, but she gets an S because she just brings a lot of crazy energy to the show. I'm going to save these three for last. Other special stuff, I'll give a B for this season because it was on average just pretty good. Please Don't Destroy, actually, I'll be harsh. Please Don't Destroy is going to get a C this season. They just weren't showing up that much. And when they did show up, it was pretty good, pretty funny, but just not as much screen time. And that is kind of a factor of how I'm grading them. So, new cast. Honestly, very impressed with all the new cast. Very impressed with all of them. Jane Wickline, some people don't like her, but she's tall and soft-spoken, kind of like me. And I find a little bit of value in what she does. She is capable of being funny. So, definitely the weakest of the new three, but I think she has some talent. So, B tier. And then these other two, Ashley Padilla, I don't do S tiers for featured players for the new cast or anything. That's just how I do these lists. But she's going places. She knows how to do comedy very well. I am very excited to see where she goes. I think she just has a lot of like sketch comedy experience, and that just really shows up. And then Emil Wakim, also a big fan of this guy. Didn't get as much screen time, but it's nice that Saturday Night Live just has a little more diversity, because now he can play certain roles like Arab Americans. I think he's Arab American. Certain roles call for that type of person to play, and he does well with that. So, and honestly, some of his his Weekend Update appearances actually, they're a little bolder, and I really appreciate that. So he's doing well too. So I think this is how I'm gonna grade it today. Let me just see if I'm gonna edit anything. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? Since I think it might be their last time, I'm bumping Colin and Michael each up one. I'm bumping them both up. Colin, this is kind of a lifetime achievement award, but like they've just done great work together for the past like 10 years or something, so they can get their praises. Yeah, anything else I want to do? I think this is how I'm doing it this time. Yeah, I think this is how I'm gonna grade it today. Yeah, let me think. So S tier is these guys, A tier is most of the cast, B tier is some of the other cast, and then I'm just not as big of a fan of these two this season. Yeah, again, because it is just for the season, that's how I'm grading. I'm not trying to base it off the entire history. It's just how I think they did this season. But again, nothing in D tier. I will say it again and again. Saturday Night Live brings a bunch of talented people together, and they just try and make you laugh. And I think for me, it works most of the time, and I'm just always happy to enjoy the show. So yeah, that's my retrospective of the season. I enjoyed it. Again, very excited to see where it goes, how it continues. But yeah, it's just a good show. I enjoy it. I think it's a good piece of American culture. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to end the video. It's just, yeah, talented people being funny, and I respect that. So that's my thoughts.